Hello again, welcome back everyone. LiquorHound here with you, and thank you for joining me once again for another spirit review video. Today I've got a couple of very mature bourbons for us to take a look at. One being from 2022, the original Jacob's Well 184-month-old bourbon that is freshly opened, even though it took a major hit. But I did crack this bottle last night. Of course, we had this huge bourbon drop and a big kind of a big line for this bourbon drop here in Texas. And so I went out there and I shared this bottle with some folks. And so that's what's left, but it is freshly opened. Now, the thing to note on the 2022 release of this Jacob's Well was that not only was it 184 months old, but it was a combination of two mash bills. So basically we had a 15-year-old high-rye beam, which could be Basil Hayden, but more than likely Old Granddad, with a 16-year-old traditional beam. Okay, it was bottled at 108 proof, retail pricing about 140. If you had to order it online, I saw them as high as about 225, 250. Okay, now the brand new one that I just got my hands on last week as well is 211 months old Jacob's Well from the Hardin's Creek line. Same exact name. One big difference is the original one came in a nice little copper little tube. It's not copper, it's just tin, but a nice little metallic tin tube. And the new one doesn't. It just comes with a little hang tag around the neck. This one is older, okay? This one runs about 211 months, so it's a combination of 18-year-old traditional beam, whereas this one was 16, and a 17-year-old high-rye beam mash bill. So again, more than likely Old Granddad. But we're going to go ahead and give them a taste side by side. Again, both of these are freshly opened. This one last night, this one about 3 or 4 nights ago. But let's go ahead and nose them, and I might do a little side-by-side action here. Starting with the 184-month 2022 Jacob's Well on the nose. And by the way, remember, they're only 1 point off as far as proof. 108 proof, 109 proof. The pricing on this one was retailed a little higher. This one was, if I remember correctly, it was right at $200, somewhere in there. So I'm sure I see it online for about $300. So it has had a little jump, but it is older. But here we go. The 184 month on the nose. Still that big, super dense brown sugar. Some brandied cherries in this one. A little bit of like a baked plum character in it. Good amount of orange oil, good amount of leather. Little bit of cocoa. And just that good, rich, sweet oak characteristic. When they start getting that vanilla and the oak working together, it has a good amount of it. Great nose on that one. So now we're going to go, and I'm just going to nose it side by side with the brand new 211-month-old, 17-year-old Hardin's Creek on the nose. Similar, big brown sugar, a little more sour note, like a polished tone. Again, when bourbons get mature, they get really old, they start going into this, some will say it like furniture polish, or to me, a little apple cider vinegary combination of those two things. This one has that. The fruits turn a little sour. This one to me smells like it's got a little more of the little sour cherry, a little bit of that baked plum, baked apples in it. Lots of clove, leather, a little anise as well, or anise. Yeah, I would almost say that little licorice tone, that little rootish thing character is a little more bumped up high here, more clove than even here. Similar on the cocoa, similar on the leather, but the oak is also a little heavier on the 211, as it should be. The spice component on the nose, it's only 1 point higher. The spice is a little heavier, so there's a little touch more cinnamon in this one, but it smells very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and go with the taste, and I'm going to pre-rinse here with a little water. With the 2022 Jacobs Well, yeah, I can get way more further in the glass here without that cinnamon, the little sharpness. Okay, here we go. Mm. Oh, that's just so good. It is big, again, just like it knows, big, super brown sugar, heavy, almost a little bit of molasses in there with it. It kind of swells, it gets that big, kind of like baked, again, baked plums, baked golden apples, because they're not super bright on that, fresh apple flavor. They're more baked down, caramelized brown sugar, that little cinnamon in there, little, yeah, a little clove in there, leather, orange oil, cocoa building up as we get past the mid palate, cocoa and leather on the back end, that rich, heavy oak with that vanilla just running on that back end as well. It's super soft for the 109 for 108 proof on this one. But it definitely tastes like very well-rounded, big flavor, mature bourbon. Lots of that orange oil, clove, leather. And then that oak finish is beautiful. A little bit of anise in this one, but it doesn't taste as heavy as this one knows. So I'm curious if that's going to be the case. And I feel like this finish is just continuing and continuing. Okay, I'm gonna have to cut it short with a little bit of water here. Okay, viscosity wise, I would call that one a medium, just above medium viscosity. Even after that water. Oof, so good. All right. Yeah, similar nose. There is a little bit of pecan on the nose on this one that I didn't pick up there. But let's taste it. Mm. Whoa. This one has similarities to Knob Creek 18 on the entry. Knob Creek 18 has a lot of oak to it, and it's what I like to call resinous oak, right, where you really taste the tannins of that wood early on here. But the viscosity is probably a little more viscous than even this one. The viscosity level here is going to be definitely edging towards that medium-high viscosity. Mm. Again, with the brown sugar molasses up front, cinnamon right behind that. That was flashes early compared to what the other one did. Cinnamon's there. You get that leather, the orange oil. You get those kind of baked plums, brandied cherries in this one as well. But when that cinnamon rushes up, you also get all that leather as well. The orange oil is in there. Even here at the mid palate, I'm still picking up a lot of that wood tannin, which again, personally, my Knob Creek 18 had that. So this is what, it's a little core memory there for that one. On the back end, you start getting the cocoa. You get this kind of almost like those, it's orange peel again, but it's almost like those candied oranges. You kind of get that in there a little bit as well. Cocoa on top of it, drying things out. The pecan that I picked up, it's in here, but it almost feels like pecans and walnuts because it's a little bit dry on the back end, just a smidge. But overall, it's a very, very enjoyable whiskey. Now, the thing I like about this one is a little goes a long way. So with this one, I have a pour, and I'm going to be perfectly happy with just that one pour of it. It's very deep, flavorful bourbon. really nice viscosity, oily, everything you want. It does have a lot of that wood tannin in there, so you have to just sip on that glass, maybe, have a couple drops of water if you'd like. I don't think it's necessary because the cinnamon that is in there is manageable at 109 proof. But if you do find it too hot, again, add a couple drops of water. It's probably going to knock that edge right off. Or get it down to the shoulder like I'm trying to do here, and then just let it breathe for about 3 to 6 months, and that'll probably knock that off naturally. But overall, drinkability wise, this is crushable. This old one is just perfectly round and soft, even though it's freshly opened. And I know with a little air, this one even gets, even more round, even softer, and it just turns into a big old bourbon pillow. And so, if you could find the old one for a good price of, I wouldn't want to go more than 300 personally. I really like that, but you're probably gonna go through this bottle because it's real, like I said, very drinkable. Whereas this one is a little cheaper than probably this one on secondary, a little more readily available now. I know I still see this online, and so hopefully you can get hold of one of these. And one last thing before I go, there is going to be some bonus content, another bonus review for my patrons over at patreon.com/liquorhound. That's where at the end of these videos, a lot of times I'll throw in additional bottles. Sometimes I'll do Patreon-only video reviews for them. But next up is going to be this brand new Untitled whiskey. And if you followed my channel for any length of time, you know that Untitled number 8 was a legendary bottle in my mind. It was a phenomenal MGP 9-year-old that was 6 months in cognac cask at 120 proof. Well, this one is no slouch, so I wanted to go ahead and get that reviewed for them. So if you're able to, join us over at patreon.com/liquorhound. Become a member. You're going to help support this channel, keep this YouTube channel alive and going, because I am self-funding these bottles. I don't ask Beam for this. I went out and purchased it with, again, the money that I'm able to raise through Patreon. And that way you get straightforward, unbiased reviews. There's nothing, I don't hold into anybody here. So please consider joining us over there. But if not, if you can only join us here on YouTube, I greatly appreciate each and every one of my viewers. Keep leaving all those great comments, and I'll get to them just as soon as I can. Everyone have a great day, and cheers.